market crashes, widespread panic.
Bubbles happen in financial markets all the time.
No one knows how the cryptocurrency rate will behave.
You can't really know what's going to happen in the futures.
There's total disbelief, fear, and just bearish sentiments. But do you think that everything's over and you can't earn on coins anymore? Of course you can. All that's needed is an awareness of the market and its trends. That's why Exrates, crypto exchange, together with Nakamoto Jedi Crypto Media, launched a new rubric, an interview with a crypto guru. And today, we're going to talk with a crypto trading and investment guru, Senior Market Analyst at eToro, Mati Greenspan. Hello, 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 my friends. Today is a special day. Why is it special, Stan? Is it because your face is once again uncomfortably close to the screen? No, not necessarily, but it's a special day because we get to talk to Mati Greenspan, our old friend from eToro Crypto Exchange. Really hope you guys enjoy this interview. Hey Mati, I am super excited to see you and your big beautiful board once again at Nakamoto Jedi. How you been? How's the new year been treating you?
Yeah, pretty good so far. Can't complain. Thanks for asking. How are you, Stan?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. So if we jump right into it, 2018 passed. It's time to draw a little bit of balance and give our viewers a bit of perspective. So is there a word that you would use to summarize what happened last year in the crypto market?
A lot of volatility. Retracement. I would say that's the big word, retracement.
Are there any main events, if you were going to summarize the year, like these are the main bullet points that happened that really affected the market, what would those be?
Monetary tightening. This is the main theme. This is not just about crypto. This is about the broader economy. 2017 was a time when everybody wanted to invest. Everybody had the capital on the side. Everybody was willing to take risks. That's why the stock market flew in 2017. Some of the bigger tech stocks gained 30%, 50%, 60%, even though the companies themselves, didn't grow that much. So the crypto world kind of caught the wave, or they caught the tail end of that big bull run. And then 2018, we saw all the central banks of the world, who basically control all the money in the world, they started tightening their fists, and they started raising interest rates, and they started reducing the liquidity that they've provided to the market so amply over the last 10 years. And the expectation of that reduced liquidity has everybody fearful. It has everybody kind of taking their money out of the markets, stock markets and crypto, and then just kind of saving it on the sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were so many losses that happened when it comes to like Bitcoin especially, that at the time it seemed so massive, and it was, but looking back at it now, it doesn't seem all that crazy, even though we lost more than 80% of its value. So, everyone's saying the bubbles burst. I don't think there's really anyone out there who's denying that it was a bubble at this point. Would you say that this was just another in the many in the process, or is this bubble different in any way?
Yeah, so look, bubbles happen in financial markets all the time. I mean, there's, the old saying of, efficient markets are efficient and everything like that. That's been thrown out the window a long time ago. So investors have a tendency to get over exuberant, to buy into something even though, the growth is not just there yet. And then those, and then that air has to come out. It's just human nature, and that's how markets work. So yes, there was a bubble. And a lot of the air has been let out already.
So that was the past. Now, if we're looking into the future, what do you think Bitcoin is going to behave like this year? Is it something you can tell us of how it's going to be affected?
Future's wide open, Stan. I mean, you can't really know what's going to happen in the future. So if we're going on the same thought wave regarding the broader macroeconomic picture. So the central banks did see the outcome of their rhetoric. So they started tightening. They started saying we're going to raise interest rates, and they saw the stock markets reacting to that in a very terrible way. So very early in 2019. We saw the Central Bank of Europe and the Central Bank of the United States already start to slam on the brakes. They said, okay, guys, wait a second. We didn't really mean that we're going to be tightening. On the other hand, some of the Asian central banks, Japan and China, they've been continuing to let the liquidity flow. So as long as we're in the scenario where people have that confidence in investment, there's no reason that the crypto shouldn't do the same. Granted, there are a few areas of risk going into 2019. Brexit is a big one. The U.S. government shutdown is huge. We're now more than a month into the U.S. government shutdown and about 2 months away from Brexit. So those are huge risk events. But as soon as we get past them, I believe that we can have very clear sailing ahead in all markets.
So let's jump into some of the things that we're expecting to see in the coming year. So this year, the SEC should deliver the decision of the BTC futures with the physical delivery of the backed asset. There's the Bitcoin ETF. In your opinion, what are the chances that the SEC is going to approve this creation?
Okay, so just a minor update on that. Yesterday evening, the VanEck, who had proposed the ETF, actually withdrew the application. What happened here is that this ETF that was proposed by VanEck, this was the one that the crypto community was kind of hoping was going to finally go through. The deadline was supposed to be on February 27th. Last night, VanEck withdrew the application. There was a very good reason for that, and I thought it was actually a spectacular move. So first of all, there was very slim chances that that ETF was ever going to be approved in the first place. We know that because the chairman of the SEC, Jay Clayton, has increasingly been saying that the Bitcoin market is not mature enough for a Bitcoin ETF at the moment. So there might have been some time, from now until February for them to convince the SEC, right? VanEck has a good relationship with them, and there certainly is a case to say that the Bitcoin market is global by now. The volumes have come drastically up over the last year and a half. I mean, let alone the last few years. The market emerged from nowhere. However, because of the U.S. government shutdown, there's really nobody to talk to at the moment. And then there was rumors saying that by law, if the SEC doesn't pass a decision by the 27th, then it's automatically approved. And obviously, it's not going to get automatically approved, right? When VanEck withdrew the application, they basically made a power move. They basically said, we're not going to give you the chance to reject our ETF. We're just going to withdraw it. We'll save that for later. We'll keep talking to you. We'll see. We'll watch the market mature. We'll update the SEC. And when we feel the SEC is ready to approve it, we'll submit the application again.
And it wasn't, if this all didn't happen and it did go through, how would that affect the Bitcoin market?
So what we can see, first of all, what the effect of the withdrawal was. You can see that on the chart right here. I don't know if you can see that. That's a little tiny candlestick. Yeah. Basically, it did cause the market to fall like a really little bit. The Bitcoin market does not rely on any. Okay, so Bitcoin was invented in order to work independently of all governments and all financial institutions. So wonderful that the financial institutions are now deciding that they want to come and embrace this and they see the value in it. Obviously, there's a lot of value to be had here. However, the market doesn't rely on them. It works independently of them. So yeah, it's cool that they want to build a financial product on top of Bitcoin, but the end result is not going to have that much of an effect on Bitcoin. Perhaps an entire wave of all of the financial institutions in the world, right? That's the type of thing that builds a market. But a single financial product being approved or not approved, whatever.
So there was also a study by the U.S. Federal Reserve, and they claimed that an introduction of the Bitcoin futures in 2017, in December 2017, led to a Bitcoin crash. Do you think this is true? Is this people grasping at straws trying to explain a naturally cyclical thing, or is there any truth to this?
So there is a correlation as far as the timing is concerned. So the CBOE and the CME group both brought their Bitcoin futures online mid to late December. We're talking about right over here, peak of the bubble. So there is a correlation as far as time. However, correlation does not equal causation. right? Just because there was a time correlation doesn't necessarily mean that that's what actually caused it. Certainly, we can say that there might have been investors who over here were buying on the hype that those futures are coming, right? And then, when the futures came. We can also say that that those two futures allowed people to short Bitcoin, which was not so easily. Look, we've been offering short on Bitcoin at eToro since 2013, but it wasn't a readily available option. So now investors can short it. Certainly that can have an effect as well. But don't forget, those two Bitcoin futures that are trading over the last year and 2 months, a year and a month, those are cash-settled futures. They're not actually backed by anything. That's basically just one Wall Street guy trading against another Wall Street guy, and at the end of the month, the loser pays the winner. It doesn't touch the Bitcoin market. Maybe some people can use it to hedge their real positions, but how many Wall Street guys are holding real positions on Bitcoin? How many of them even know how to, to store a private key or to, have an account with, with some exchange or whatever? But at the end of the day, the volumes on those two futures are not enough to say that they actually have any real effect on the market. I did the math this morning, and the CME group accounts for about less than 3% of the total volumes that are traded across crypto exchanges. We're not talking about a power player here.
Yeah. So if we do move beyond Bitcoin, do you think there's any altcoins you should follow this year?
Yeah, all of them. I mean, I'm keeping my eye on, let's say, the top 10, top 20. I think that the ones that have managed to come to that type of market maturation, I think those are the most interesting. It's going to be very difficult to pick some, obscure altcoin and say, okay, this is going to be a winner. I do like two specifically that are like if you're looking for those fringe ones, I like Kin that I'm holding, a little bit of Kin, because if you know the Kik instant messaging app has hundreds of millions of active users. Yeah. So I think it's going to be real simple for them to introduce a new currency into their ecosystem, and as well as Telegram, who's creating their testnet, is going live hopefully next month. I think that's very interesting. At the moment, it's closed for every investor because actually they raised $1.7 billion from private investors. They never needed to go to a public ICO. Yeah. So as soon as those tokens get introduced, I think that's something to watch. Other than that, you've got the DApp wars, right? We can watch Ethereum versus Neo and Cardano and EOS. It's always very fun to watch those updates as well.
And last thing I want to ask you about is I recently spoke to our friends from CoinGecko, and they said that they weren't very bullish on this coming year. They said this is going to be a slow year, but they were really excited for 2020. So they said that's when they're expecting the bull market to come back. What do you think about something like that? Is that something you see as well, or?
I think it makes sense. If we put it in the broader spectrum again, and I'm sorry I keep going back to outside of crypto. I know everybody wants to watch crypto, but if we think about economic cycles, right? Economic cycles go in bull and bear, boom and bust. The average time frame for a bear cycle or a bull cycle is 4.5 years in a regular market. Given that crypto works a little bit faster, and we've seen Bitcoin cycles play out in a much shorter time frame, right, where we've seen massive bull runs and then massive retracements in a much shorter time frame, that kind of makes sense to me. Simply because the 2017 bull run was not a direct result of what happened in 2017. I think that it was actually something that built up since the lows in 2015. It was trading at $250 a coin. And then it just keep incrementally increasing in value, right? We're talking about 1% in a month, 2% in a month, 5%, 10% in a month, right? And then all of a sudden we were talking about 10% in a week, 15% in a week, right? And then by the time we got to December, 30% in a day, right? So it's something that snowballed and kind of built up over time. So to say that, now that we're coming off the bear market, we're going to all of a sudden snap to the moon, I don't think it's incredibly realistic. What I'd like to see is a kind of stabilization in prices. I was thrilled mid-2018 when we saw that few months that Bitcoin wasn't moving. I was like, yay, have we found, I thought we found the floor at that point. Then we snapped the psychological level. I think we had a video about, back at the time. So what we need is a kind of stabilization, and then something can build up over time. And I don't think that it's necessarily also so healthy what we saw in that bubble in 2017. Better for the market if we just continue to see kind of tepid, gradual gains. I think that's really the best scenario.
Yeah, it doesn't sound nearly as sexy, but it's definitely better for it as a whole.
I think so.
That's great. Thank you for your time again. Hope we could do this again, upcoming. And thanks, man. I really enjoyed your insight and your big giant board of info again.
You got it.
Maybe we'll talk later.
All right, Stan, have a good one.
You too.
Well, guys, what do you think about that? Are you kind of coming to terms with the current state of the market right now? Well, you guys need to continue to gather as much information as you can, and remember, use your head before you make any investing decisions. And for now, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the drill. I think if we get 1,000 or like 1,000,000 likes on this video, Nakamoto has agreed to buy me a giant board like Mati to have behind me at all times. A guy can dream. Bye, guys.